Hi friends, welcome to our channel. So today we're going to discuss about ambiguous grammar in compiler design. So we're discussing about parsing techniques. So we have two types of parsing, top-down parsing, bottom-up parsing. So before going that, first we'll discuss what a parse tree is. Okay, and as you know, we have different phases of compiler, right? So the parse tree is generated in second phase, that is syntax analysis. So we call it a syntax tree or a parse tree. So what is this ambiguous grammar? So we already discussed about grammar, right? So grammar is NTPS or we call it as VTPS. So set of non-terminals, set of terminals, production symbols and the starting symbol. Okay, so that is what grammar is. So there we already discussed about two types of grammars, context free grammar, context sensitive grammar. Now what is ambiguous grammar? A grammar is said to be ambiguous grammar if it has one or more than one parse tree. If it has more than one parse tree, then we call it as an ambiguous grammar. Okay. So how can we say that? So depending upon a grammar, we can construct a parse tree, right? So if we get more than one parse tree, then obviously we can say that that grammar is an ambiguous grammar. So let's take a grammar and we'll see whether that grammar is ambiguous or not. So let's take this grammar here. Okay. So what is this grammar? E tends to E plus E or E into E, E, ID. Okay. Now we'll check whether this grammar contains more than one parse tree. Okay. So we need to generate a string ID plus ID into ID. Okay. So let's start with the starting symbol. So as we know, our grammar is VTPS. So V stands for set of non-terminals. So what non-terminals do we have here? We have only capital E. So what are the terminals we have? ID. Okay. So what is my productions? E tends to E plus E, E into E, E, ID are productions. And what is the starting symbol? E. Okay. So let's start with our starting symbol E. Okay. So as we know, we have E tends to E plus E. Let us take the first one. E plus E. Okay. So we have another production called E tends to E into E. So here I will substitute E into E. Okay. So now in the place of E I will substitute ID. Why? Because we have a production E tends to ID, right? So ID. Here also I will substitute ID. Here also ID. So whether I generated my string or not. So my string is ID plus ID into ID. So I will start from here. ID plus ID into ID. So ID plus ID into ID we got. So this is the parse tree 1. So parse tree 1. So let us check whether is there any option we'll get another parse tree. Okay. So we'll start with E again. So now I will start with E into E. So in this parse tree I took E tends to E plus E. Here I will take E into E. Okay. So now in the place of E I will take E plus E. Okay. So as we know that we have E tends to ID, right? So substitute in the place of capital E. So ID, ID, ID. Now check whether we got our string or not. So ID plus ID into ID. So starting from ID plus ID into ID. That means for this grammar I got more than one parse tree. So now what we can say? The above grammar is ambiguous grammar. Okay. So we'll see another example so that we'll get a clear idea about ambiguous grammar. So this is the grammar I took here. S tends to AS, BS, S tends to BS, AS, and S tends to epsilon. So in this we need to see what is VTPS. So what are non-terminals, what are set of terminals, what is production symbol, and what is my starting symbol. So that is VTPS. So what is my non-terminal? So capital S is a non-terminal. What are our terminals here? Small a, small b, epsilon. Small a, small b, epsilon are our terminals. So these are my production rules. And what is my starting symbol here? Capital S is my starting symbol. So what string I need to generate here? AB, AB. So AB, AB is the string I need to generate here. Now I am going to check whether we can generate more than one parse tree or not, and this given grammar is ambiguous or not. So that is what my point here. So let us start with the first one. S tends to A, S, B, S. S tends to AS, BS. And for S tends to BS, AS I have here. So I will take for this B, S, A, S. Right? So what string I need to generate here? I need to generate AB, AB. So I got A, I got B. So I got A, I got B. Now I need to generate AB. Okay? So here I have A, here I have B. So but in the meanwhile I have capital S here. So I should not have a non-terminal, right? So in order to generate a string, those should be our terminals. So I need to check whether we have any other production or not. So if you see the third production, we have capital S tends to epsilon. So epsilon is nothing. So I can substitute epsilon in the place of capital S. So substitute here epsilon, epsilon, epsilon. Okay. So epsilon is nothing. So what string I got here? A. So I am showing with arrow marks, dotted lines. A, B. Directly go to A. Okay. And here we have epsilon, forget about that, and directly go to B. Okay, so I got AB, AB. So we got one parse tree. Now we will check whether is there any possibility of getting another parse tree. Now I will start with the second. So why can't I start with second one? So if I start with second one, it is starting with small b. But what string I need to get here? I need to get AB, AB. So there is no possibility of starting with second one. Can I start with third one? The third production is S tends to epsilon. So how can I start with epsilon? So there is no other go. I should start with the first one only. S tends to A, S, B, S. Okay. So now in the place of capital S, let me substitute BS, AS. For example, if I substitute BS, AS here. Okay. So what happens? A, if I substitute epsilon here, B, I am getting B. So that's not the thing which we need to get. So we should get AB, AB. So what I will substitute? I will substitute again. In the place of S, I will substitute A, S, B, S. I getting. So A, B, again I substitute A, S, B, S. Now in the place of S, I can substitute epsilon. So epsilon, epsilon, epsilon. Okay. So A, so leave it. Epsilon, leave it. B, A, leave epsilon, B. So this is a string I need to get, right? Okay. So I got more than one parse tree, so that I can clearly say that the given grammar is ambiguous grammar. So I hope you understand the concept of ambiguity, the ambiguous grammar. So what is ambiguous grammar here? If your grammar generates more than one parse tree, then that grammar is said to be ambiguous grammar. Okay, thanks for watching. So the people who are watching my channel for the first time, please subscribe our channel and please share my videos to your friends and well-wishers, and please support our channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.